Thank you and sorry.
Hello. Can you hear me, Daniel?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Hi, chat. Can you hear us well?
Hello, everyone. So, just to make sure, should I kind of watch the stream on Steam, right?
Yep. Yep. Okay. Let's try this. So, hi everyone again. So we'll be streaming Godless today. We released our demo. Just now it's available on Steam during the Steam Demo Fest. Feel free to try it. Also, wishlist the game. We really appreciate it. Today with me is Daniel, the developer of the game. And I'm a designer at Brace Yourself Games. Daniel, would you like to talk more about like the game and yourself as well?
Yeah, definitely. Well, everyone, and I'm super excited to be here. I mean, it's very exciting to finally kind of let me go try Godless after almost 3 years of work on this game. So yeah, I've been working on this game for about 2 years just by myself, and then we kind of cooperated with DYG to like improve the whole game experience. And like, to put it simple, it's the game about exterminating humankind. Basically, you're a god and you have powers to exterminate humankind, and also you have the reason, because like the whole humankind kind of murdered all other gods. So you'll have to take your revenge on them. And you do that in turn-based battles, where you can create units or even change landscape, cast spells, do different things. And the most interesting part, I think, is that these turn-based battles are kind of automatic. Basically, any unit that you create will act on their own, and you'll have to come up with the right composition of these units. You'll have to create kind of beneficial environments for them and control them indirectly, because you are a god after all, not a kind of puppet master. So yeah, and I think just one question: Are we live on Steam yet?
We won't be streaming on Steam for now. We'll do it later in the week. For now, we're just streaming on YouTube and Twitch.
Oh, okay, that's fine. I was just trying to watch the stream on Steam. So, okay, let me...
So, just to kind of update chat, hi everyone again. Pretty much this is how, so we started the new playthrough, and then this is the combat view of the game. So we first need to, in the demo you get access to just your main shrine and a couple of starting units that you can then kind of develop and build and unlock more of them as you play through. At the start of the battle, you need to decide where you want to place your shrine, and that will determine how the strategy will unfold after that. So in this case, there's 2 enemies right now in the first wave of combat. So we can place our shrine a bit further away, where it will be safe from them and it will give us time to build up our units on the battlefield. When it comes to deciding where to place your shrine as well, different tiles will have different effects on units that stand on them, and shrine is considered to be a unit. So in this case, forest will give us 2 health at the end of at the start of each turn. So we can place it here, and it's nice and far away from the units. During combat, oh yeah, go on, Daniel.
Yeah, just wanted to say that you should never put your shrine on the swamp.
Yeah.
Because the swamp will damage it. So yeah, the forest is the best place to put your shrine on, and also kinda, it's a good idea to put it closer to mountains to kinda limit enemies' possibilities to attack your shrine. So yeah, it's it's definitely very important to consider where exactly you want to put your shrine. Yeah. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, and as you play through the game, new tiles will unlock, and as you pick different difficulties, more tiles with more effects will start spawning as well in different parts of the map, and also as you progress through the playthrough itself, you go from act to act, and each act has different tile sets, and those will change the playstyle quite a bit. Yeah, System Shock. Placing your shrine on swamps will deal 3 damage every turn, so that's a very effective way to end your playthrough very quick. So when it comes to combat itself, you have mana and your units and spells and tiles that you can place. Each skill that you have requires a certain amount of mana, and each turn you get 1 mana, so you can stock it up to play more powerful units or kind of deplete it all at once as you receive it. So in this case we have battle sorcerers, just level 1 units here. They're pretty easy. You can try placing a swordsman relatively far away from them, just so we can build up their strength. And then also place a tile underneath it called the Place of Power, and that will buff its attack at the start of next turn. Would you like to talk more, Daniel, about what kind of content players can expect to see in the game, just in the demo and in early access as well?
Yeah, totally. There will be 2 acts available in the game, so basically, if you have ever played any roguelikes, you'll probably know that there are kind of parts of the game called acts, biomes. They can be called differently. So in Godless, they are acts, and each act consists of 3 continents, and kind of unique tiles and unique enemies you'll have to fight with. And there will be 1 act available in the demo and 2 acts available at the start of early access, but we'll definitely add more acts during the early access period. And also in the demo version, you'll have access to about 10 skills, which is more than enough to get a good feel for different strategies. And also you'll have like quite a lot of systems, I think. You'll be able to acquire talents. Talents are passive powers that affect your runs in some positive way. For example, there is a talent called Veteran, and like it makes your first unit gets extra attack and health. And also, I think one of the most important systems in the game are the gems. Gems are basically stones that you can use to enchant your skills. Basically, you can make your swordsman attack twice, or maybe spawn it with even more health, or you can make it destroy other tiles on that, like a lot of things. And I love how gems are created, like the whole crafting system, but probably Nikita will just show you the gem crafting systems a bit later.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. And also, yeah, there is a lot of like progression between your matches. You can unlock boons, which are passive skills, but which are available from the very start of each match. So with every run you become much stronger, and you can also raise the difficulty of the game to make it more challenging for you if you feel like lower difficulty levels are not enough for you. And all of these things that I mentioned are available in the demo. They are a bit limited, but they are still available, and you can just try them. And there will be a lot more of all of this in the EA version. So yeah, just if all of this sounds good to you, try the demo to see if the game is a good fit for you. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It seems like in general in the demo there's quite a bit of content, and as we played it just in the office and with playtesters, a lot of people enjoyed it quite a bit, and there was a lot of things that can happen as you combine all the skills, all the gems, all the passive abilities, and all the units that come up during your playtime. The thing as well to note, when it comes to crafting crafting new gems, we'll see that in the campaign map, and we'll try crafting gems, and there's a couple of other locations that allow you to unlock more abilities. Now, when it comes to kind of going back to combat as well, when you pick a different difficulty, you can pick one for each act individually, and that will scale up the starting level of units in that act. And as units level up, they get new abilities, and you can see that right now, with each wave that the unit is deployed, they get. So, for example, the battle sorceress now is level 2, and on the next wave, she will unlock a new ability, and we should be careful about that and think ahead of time and how we're planning to deal with the consequences of units becoming not more challenging because of their stats increase, but also them unlocking new abilities. On the subject of abilities as well, the units that we have right now, the swordmen deal double damage if the target is weaker, and that really well synergizes with another starting tile that we have that gives them gives them 2 attack. So we can really stack their damage, and that will allow us to pretty much one-shot those units, but we need to plan really far ahead to do that. And
Yeah,
yeah, I was just about to say that I want to kind of ask you to go over some of the other things in the game that create the sort of depth that would encourage players to plan ahead and think multiple steps up front.
I think one of the most important things in the game that encourages you to kind of be creative is that the game is very consistent when it comes to its rules. For example, if you see a unit that can push other units, he will push them like no matter what. For example, if he can push them up the continent right into the ocean, he'll be able to do that. If you see some tile that says it resurrects all units, it will resurrect all of them. Enemies, allies, even your shrine. So the game is very consistent, which gives you kind of a good base to understand how everything works and to plan ahead, and kind of lets you unleash your creativity. So yeah, there are a few more interesting skills, I guess. There are skills that are pretty much based on stats. Like there is a unit, for example, which has attack always equal to health. For example, there is what else? There is a tile that can kind of push other units, and if this tile will push them into other same tiles, they will be pushed against, so you can basically create a line of pushing tiles and push some enemy of the continent completely, and there is a lot of things like that, so you can always experiment with a lot of things. So yeah.
And to kind of highlight some of those things, when it comes to rules consistency, generally all enemies will try to get to the shrine as fast as possible, whilst all of your units will try to get to the nearest enemy. And in this case, because we've been planning ahead and stacking up a lot of effects on the swordsman, now that they do 18 damage, we can pretty much one-shot this battle sources, which now unlocked an ability to teleport to the shrine, which would be a big problem if we just dealt a little bit of damage, but because we can one-shot her, it saves us a lot of trouble, and we can then focus on other enemies. To help with planning as well, one of the features in the game that's really helpful is you can see which order the units will go in and where they will go, or who they will attack, and that can be like if I hold control, for example, I can see that the Ogre will go here and they will be third in the order, and then the Swordsman will go first, then the Tribal Priestess will go second. And in general, all tiles act first, then all of your allies, and then all the enemies. And those rules stay consistent throughout the game, so you can keep making tactics and plans that you can reuse and iterate on and build upon with all the other things that we'll show in the campaign map. So we're almost done with this battle as well. Let's quickly wrap it up. And again, the game will be available in early access on 11th of October. You can try the demo on Steam and wishlist it if you want to be notified when it releases.
Oh, it's damaged your shrine with its ability.
Yeah.
It's also...
Yeah. But that kind of feeds into what we were saying, where the rules still stay consistent, where the shrine is just considered to be a regular unit. So the same rules apply to it as to any other unit. Okay. Nice. So in theme with the game, we destroyed this continent and now can get some sweet rewards. Let's see what we get. So, oh nice, we got a new skill. So we can talk a bit more about how the skills work. So pretty much depending on which skills you use in combat, you will get different energy types that allow you to unlock things in the campaign map. So there's 3 types, which is the fire energy, the nature's energy, and death energy. And in this case, the ogre or the orc warlord is the fire energy type. So by placing them here, we'll gain more fire energy during combat. The orc warlord also has a really cool ability that allows them to add its attack to adjacent allies, which can be really powerful if we manage to either spawn a lot of them or scale their attack in combination with other tiles that we have. And then we got some ether as well, which acts as the main currency in the game that you can spend on buying new spells or trading for energy at different locations. Okay. You were mentioning, Daniel, as well, crafting gems, so that's something that we can try as well.
Yeah. Yeah, basically, when you want to craft a gem, you'll have to combine 2 elements. And depending on what exactly you combine, you'll receive different results. For example, if you combine fire and fire, you'll receive this one, the heart of the volcano. If you, for example, combine fire with death, you'll receive another one. and there are quite a lot of combinations for you to explore. So they create quite a lot of variety when it comes to your strategy. So probably this one will work well with the Orc Warlord because it allows to attack twice, and Orc Warlord can scale its attack pretty good. So it kind of increases attack of all other units whenever it attacks. So by attacking twice, you basically make him twice stronger. So it's always crucial to craft right gems for your skills, or vice versa. Kind of try to find good skills for the gems that you acquired. And all of these enchantments to skills are permanent. So basically, when you enchant a slot on the upper panel, you can put any skill into this slot, and it will have this enchantment throughout the whole match. So yeah, let's see how it works with the Orc Warlord.
Yeah, and something to mention as well that as you said, you enchant the slot. So if at any point you want to try to put a different unit, as far as the unit or as far as the skill matches the upgrade, that upgrade will apply to them as well. So for example, I originally upgraded the slot that had the Orc Warlord in it, but I can move my swordsman into it as well, and now the swordsman will get that ability because they're in that skill slot. However, some of the gems give tile effects or skill effects, and those will not work with the units. So you want to be careful about which slots you upgrade or how you upgrade them based on the loadout that you have. Yeah. Let's try this new ability that we got.
It's pretty strong. It costs quite a lot of mana, 2 points of mana, but the Warlord worth it. He's pretty strong.
I think the main challenge with using the Warlord is making sure to spawn them pretty far away from units so you can stack up their health and damage quite a bit. Because their starting stats are not that high, but their abilities are really good. So in this case, we're locked out where the enemies spawn on the other side of the map, so we have quite a bit of time to not only buff up the attack of the Warlord, but also their health. And there is quite a few strategies that we can go for. We can either combine them with the swordsman and let the Warlord buff up the swordsman, or spawn potentially another Warlord so they can buff each other. It's a very powerful strategy. Something to consider as well, that the new gem, even though the Warlord can attack twice, they will take quite a lot of damage, so we might want to increase their health as well.
Yeah, and spawning tribal priestesses is a good way to do that.
Yeah, and then there's a lot of force on our way to allow the Warlord to kind of heal up. Now, something that I had not considered, which I often make the mistake of, is based on the unit positioning, you can be pretty careful about how you plan your turns. So in this case, for example, my unit will move here, and they will not be able to attack the enemy during their turn, but then the enemy will move here and will be right next to them and will be able to attack. So ideally, you want to really think about how your units will navigate through the map, and where they will start encountering enemies, so you can plan ahead of time. One way to counter this, for example, is I can place Tribal Priestess here, and this way this will redirect my Warlord and then redirect the enemy here. So this will protect my Warlord, and I can keep building up that strategy of buffing them up instead of potentially outright losing them right here.
Yeah. The Warlord will go to the swamp, which is not a good thing because the swamp will damage him, but we can always replace the swamp with the source of power to prevent the Orc Warlord from receiving damage and buff his attack as well.
Yeah, and that's a good point when it comes to the skills that you have, where some, even though the place of power is a good tile in its own way, sometimes you might just want a tile to replace what's already on the map, just to help your strategy come through. And it looks like our warlord will move first, so we'll not get the buff from it, which is a bit sad, but at least they will stay alive, which is the important part for now.
Yeah, and even if we won't manage to buff anyone with warlord during this wave, hopefully he will stay alive for the second wave, and we'll be able to buff someone a bit later.
Yep. And right now I'm just kind of trying to position my units in a way where they engage in more favorable ways with the enemy. Something to note as well, because it's the second continent, the enemy units now start at level 2 instead of level 1. So as you progress through each continent, the units will become more and more difficult. So you need to be really careful about which skills you pick and how you upgrade your units, because your units don't level up. So the only way for them to become stronger is for you to either improve your strategy or build or gain upgrades that synergize well.
Yeah, and also you'll have to face a boss at the end of each act, and bosses are pretty strong, so that's another thing that you should focus on when you setting up your strategy.
And to kind of showcase our initial plan of utilizing the Orc Warlord, where Tribal Priestess, her starting health is 2, but now because of the Warlord's ability, it's now 14 attack. So that's having a bunch of, and that buff would be applied to each adjacent ally. So if we surrounded the Warlord with a bunch of units, this would be incredibly powerful. And as a matter of fact, we might just... Yeah,
I just wanted to say that now you can put another Tribal Priestess next to the Warlord to utilize his ability.
Yeah, so Tribal Priestess is now 30 damage, which will be enough to pretty much one-shot anyone, really, at this stage in the game. So, as you can see, the game can turn pretty quickly, where if you make a serious mistake, you will be at a pretty substantial disadvantage. But if you plan very carefully and you think about how your units will interact with tiles and other units on the battlefield, this will substantially increase your odds to win, even though initially you're kind of outnumbered by the enemies. And in this case,
our current situation, go on. Okay, so like in this situation, the most important thing to keep our Tribal Priestess with about 30 attack alive, and we'll get in trouble if we won't.
Yeah, and we kind of got quite unfortunate with the last wave. They spawned pretty close to our altar, and something that we haven't discussed yet is other things, or some of the things that will be unlocked in early access. So, for example, there's one thing called rituals, which you can trigger in between each wave, and they allow you to enact certain abilities that could turn things in your favor after you see the enemy spawn. For example, you can move around one of your units, or introduce different tiles, or combine units to make them more powerful. So there's quite a lot of opportunities to...
There is something with your sound, I guess.
Oh yeah? Can you hear me well? Test, Daniel. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think I can hear you now.
Okay, maybe some issues with connection.
Yeah.
So we took a little bit of damage here from the battle sorcerers, but overall this battle went pretty well, and we managed to get rid of all the units relatively fast.
The connection issues are still there.
Okay. I'll kind of keep playing through the game and chatting. Let me know when it stabilizes. In this case, we didn't get a new unit, but we received a lot of fire energy, and probably from using the Orc Warlord quite a bit, and also quite a bit of ether that we can spend. Now, in the previous, or after the previous battle, we went to the forge to craft the new gem. In this case, we could have a choice between merchant and chamber. And chamber allows us to unlock new abilities, whilst merchant allows us to buy new ones. Right now you have access to all three of them, but in early access they will be quite randomized, and you might get multiple locations per path available to you, and not necessarily all three paths available at once. There's also some events that you can look forward to that will allow you to make choices depending on which things you have. Let's see, we could probably go to chamber here first. Also our next battle is the battle with the boss. So we need to really prepare and see what we can do.
Oh, I think I can hear you now.
Okay. Let's see, so we have quite a bit of fire energy, so we can use that to get a new fire talent. Let's see, adds +7, +2 to the first summoned ally each battle. So this is incredibly powerful for our Orc Warlord, or even the Swordsman will synergize really well with this. Then we don't have a lot of nature energy, so it's not really worth investing our resources into it, but we can see if we can spend all of that ether to maybe get another 20 fire energy to get the next skill here. It looks like we have enough, so let's let's pick the buff and then trade the ether for some more fire energy to unlock the next step in the fire skill tree. Okay, weapon mastery and panic. Weapon mastery grants us dual wielding to every third summoned ally, whilst panic gives us attack 3 times total. All enemies will lose 3 attack. So this is quite useful because we're keeping some of our core units alive, so we're focusing on really buffing one of our units, so they will probably attack 3 times pretty regularly. And then dual wielding, let's check what's that. Attacks an additional time. So for the third unit, it's not too helpful in our case, though. Let's see, maybe chat can help us. Chat, any thoughts on which of the two we should pick? I'll look for a bit and then make a choice if we don't get a reply. Whilst we wait. So as you can see, we have 3 skill trees as well.
Cannot hear you. Okay.
Still. Not at all. Test. Let's see if Daniel will have any luck reconnecting. It looks like there's some connection problems. But to kind of continue, each skill tree has its own effects. So for example, the fire one is focused on more aggressive play style, the nature one is focused on more defensive one, and the death one is focused on crowd control and kind of afflictions, in a sense. Focusing on kind of reducing enemy damage, things like that. So let's see, let's pick, I think panic will work quite well with our build. So we can go with that and see if we can defeat the final boss. So, on the Broken Islands, we have Talvias, which is the boss of the first act. Talvias is in general pretty powerful, especially on harder difficulties. Right now we're on easy, so we won't get to see all of his abilities, but we can talk a bit more about them. And in this case, as we can see, Talvias launches a projectile dealing 6 damage to the shrine every time he attacks, and he will get 8 health if the target is weaker. Now, one thing to consider with Talvias is the battlefield layout plays a big role, where every time he enters this tile, the one with the graveyard, he will get 4 attack, and we really want to avoid that. So ideally we want to try to get him to navigate to the shrine across all of these or across all of these swamps, which should work quite well in our favor. But if the battlefield was laid out slightly differently, we could completely regenerate the map using some of our ether, and that would allow us to potentially get a more favorable setup. So in this case, I think placing the shrine here will be really good for us, and then Talvias will just go in a straight line. I think that will work out quite well in our favor, and then we can potentially do what we did before, where we have... Now, we can go about it in 2 ways. I think, something made a slight mistake, where I think it would have been more favorable against Talvias to switch the swordsman and the orc, so we can really focus on buffing up this swordsman. Now, what we can try to do is, let's see, adjacent allies. Let's get our swordsman and start beefing them up. And as you can see, that passive ability veteran came into play, and now the swordsman deals 13 damage. So against Talvias, swordsman will deal 26 damage per attack. That's where the gem that's currently the Heart of the Volcano would have been useful, because with an extra attack, it would have been around 40 damage per hit, or 39 damage per hit, which would have been pretty good. Now, let's see what Talvias will do. Okay, as planned, Talvias kinda is going in a straight line. Hello, Sakram. Nice to see you on the stream. Let's see, double it, +2 attack, Battle Priestess. We can replace this swamp with the Place of Power, so that our swordsman doesn't take any unnecessary damage. And now we kind of run into the same situation as before, where Talvias will move into this tile first, and we will move into a neighboring tile first, and then Talvias will be able to attack us. So we want to avoid that. So really, we can try either placing our unit in front of Talvias, or trying to redirect one of our units, which I think we'll try redirecting Talvias. So they will attack the unit, move in, and then our unit will move in. So that should be fine. So they're effectively using Tribal Priestess as bait. Okay, that worked out pretty well. And now we can really use our swordsman to deal damage to Talvias. Now, Talvias has... so we need to keep our unit alive. That's one of the most important parts here, because we want them to stack up this and weaken Talvias. This will play a crucial role to allowing us to damage him as he advances towards our shrine. Okay, nice. The panic ability played out, so Talvius is now a lot weaker, and we'll get 3... How much health do we get? So this will bring us to 3, 4. So I think our swordsman will die next turn. So what we can do is focus on trying to get him to do as much damage as possible whilst he's still alive. That will be around 20, almost 20 damage. Yeah. So now that we brought Talvius to almost no health, we can then just spawn some weaker units to allow them to finish him. Easy. So again, kind of similar strategy. We really focused on buffing up the swordsman and trying to get him to engage with Talvius in more favorable conditions. Now, as you play through the game, this was just the first act. There is, in early access, there is another act with its own boss at the end, and we're planning to add more acts during early access as well. After you finish, either you win or lose one of your runs, you get some experience and you can use it to unlock new abilities and passive upgrades for your shrine. So in this case, because we played on easier difficulty, we get a slight modifier, but if you pick hard difficulties, it will buff up your experience, and it's based on kind of what you do in the game, whether you craft gems or learn talents or destroy continents or create units. All of that will contribute to you getting more experience at the end of the run. And depending on which upgrade you pick, that can pretty substantially alter your playstyle from run to run. So let's say in this case we have a couple of things available to us. Let's see. Let's unlock this. So here we have available the boon is inactive, upgraded, so we can upgrade the number of slots we have so we can have more versatility in our strategy, or we can claim an extra reward after winning a continent. Now, I think I will go for the extra slot, and then we can see what kind of other strategies are available to us. Another thing that's incredibly powerful and beneficial, so we can either just upgrade the shrine to increase its health, that can help us in the long run as well, but also rituals. And rituals are quite fun because they, as I said before, allow us to change how the wave to wave combat works, and we can see that on the next run. So let's see. So Act 2 is locked for now, but we can pick the next difficulty for Act 1. And when it comes to picking difficulty, you can pick difficulty for individual acts. There's quite a few of them, and they will substantially, changing to the next difficulty will substantially change how units behave, because they will start on higher level with newer abilities, but it will also spawn new tiles, like in this case the Ancient Rune. Just to check, Daniel, can you hear me?
Yeah, I think I can hear you now. Sometimes there is no sound, but for now I can hear you.
Okay, sounds good. So because we picked the new upgrade, we now have a new rune slot unlocked, but we need to enhance it with a gem to properly unlock it. So because we increased the difficulty now, all the units, as you can see, start at level 2, which means that on the second wave they now will have abilities, but also it starts spawning this new rune that adds 1 health to the shrine every time a unit enters it, and that is not just your units, it's any units. So really you want to try to kite enemies through those runes to get as much health to your shrine as possible early on. That will substantially help you not just in your fight with Talvias, but also in future acts, because for example in the first act you have quite a lot of abilities that allow you to kind of gain more health for the shrine and recover, whilst in Act 2 there isn't any tiles of this nature, so pretty much whatever health you can build up for the shrine in Act 1, that's all you're getting for Act 2. As you can see, you get some extra free health. Now we can try positioning our priestess and the swordsman in a way that will buff up their health as well, and also allowing the swordsman to enter the rune, getting us the buff.
Yeah, Act 1 allows you to buff shrine's health to pretty high values, but you'll have to kind of position your units pretty wise to make sure they enter ancient runes, and also it's beneficial to place the shrine or the forest to make sure it will gain some extra health from it.
Yep. Yeah, and as you can see, even after for a couple, so we started with 40 health, and after a couple of turns we're now at 49. So this can be incredibly powerful if you also don't take any damage by, let's say, by the time you reach Talvias, your shrine could effectively double its health, which could really help you in the long run, and help you get out of situations where you could have potentially lost the game or lost the run. Yep.
In future acts, for example in Act 2, you won't have that many possibilities to buff your shrine's health. You still have some, but not as many as in Act 1, so it's also important to use opportunities to do something beneficial in certain acts while you can. For example, with Act 1 it's buffing shrine's health. In Act 2 it's something else. So yeah, it's pretty important, I guess.
And we got the rituals as well that we just unlocked. So in this case we only get to pick 2 of them, but for the next unlock of the rituals in the library we'll also get to unlock really powerful rituals that we can sacrifice some of our resources to get. Now right now, based on what do we have? So we can relocate a unit, and that means any unit, either ours or allies, or we can devour one of our devour allies around our adjacent around one of our allies to get all of their stats. And I think in this case that will work out really good, because we can just combine all the stats from the priestesses into our swordsman, buffing the swordsman to a pretty substantial amount of health and damage. I really like the Vicious Hunger ability. It can, if you manage to plan ahead and it shows up, that can be feels so nice to really buff up your units.
Yeah, and if you don't have any units at all to buff, you still can use it on someone and it will get some buff. Not that significant if it's if there were units that you could consume, but there'll still be some buff. Maybe the Vicious Hunger will appear on the next continent, so you'll have a chance to use it on some single unit to see what happens.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good point. Generally, a lot of abilities have interesting side effects that you might, at first, not realize they have. So it's really interesting to try to experiment with different abilities and different units. Maybe because we now have a new slot available, we can see if we can get a bit more tiles from the shop to showcase some of those abilities. To highlight something as well, I really like the art for the game. This kind of minimalist style is really nice. It changed quite a bit during the development of the game, and we're planning to keep improving it and expanding it as we progress through early access as well.
Yeah, originally I used just some free assets, not only free assets, but some other kinds of purchased assets as well. But now, like, all of this are custom made, and yeah, I agree, it looks great.
Yeah, for sure. So let's see, what new rituals do we have? Destroying a hex is really powerful, and then we got another teleportation one. I think in this case our best bet would be to destroy the hex, because we can really limit where the Battle of Sorceresses can teleport to, and then keep buffing our swordsman, so he'll engage with them first and then one-shot them.
Yeah, there can be a situation when there are literally no hexes adjacent to your shrine. Basically, you can place it next to two mountains and destroy the third hex next to the shrine, and enemies just won't be able to approach your shrine. That's a pretty rare situation, it's almost impossible, but if you manage to do that, that's okay. Then you pulled up a great strategy.
Yeah, those situations come up from time to time, and it's really interesting to see them play out. Usually quite fun. I think there is a couple of units that have really interesting tactics where you could buff them to be almost 900 units that obliterate everything, but because they only last for one combat encounter, it can be really challenging to try to repeat those strategies over and over again. But when you do, it feels really nice.
Oh, she managed to approach the shrine.
Yeah, just teleporting after the attack. Yeah, dealing 9 damage per attack is... it's not nice. It's a lot of damage. And to kind of highlight again that because we tried to plan around it, we started with 40 health on the shrine and now we're at 62.
Yeah, and another thing that is pretty important when it comes to planning is the prediction tool, when you can see where units will go and who they will attack. That's pretty important.
Yes. Let's see. I don't have any... Do you remember how much it costs to get new gems or new sparks in the forge?
So to get one spark in the forge, you'll have to spend 75 ether.
75. Okay, I don't think I'll have enough. So I'll probably go to the... I'll go to the merchant, see what the merchant has.
Yeah, you can purchase sparks from the merchant at lower cost, so probably you can some there.
Yeah, I want to try... I kind of wish I got a little bit more energies so I can get a spark and a new ability. But something that you can buy from the merchant as well as scrolls, and they're just one-time use abilities or like skills or units or tiles. Now, what do we have here? have the Orc Warlord, but we tried that one before. The Well of Souls is really cool, where it resurrects any unit that dies on it, giving that unit 1 health. Or Protector of Nature is really good, where attack is equals to health. All adjacent allies attack enemies immediately if possible. Furious Brute is really fun if you manage to pull off some strategies with double attack, where they push the enemies off the edge of the map, which we can try pulling off. Yeah, actually, let's get the Furious Brute and then save up the rest of our ether for the next location.
Yeah, probably you'll have a chance to visit the Forge next time to craft a gem that allows to attack twice, which is a good combination with the Furious Brute. So you'll be able to keep Talvis on a pretty far distance from your shrine.
Yeah. Let's see. I think in this case it might be nice to... If we can get the Furious Brute to... This one will move here and this one will start moving along this line. So let's try putting our shrine there. And then let's see. So yeah, this unit will probably move along this line and then this one will move here. So we can try placing the Furious Brute here, and in hopes that to kind of keep them alive for a bit, to let all the units close in, and then we can try pushing them around a bit more, hopefully getting rid of this unit first and then this one next. I think this will force the Brute. Yeah,
but keep in mind that all will be able to damage your units with their ability.
Yeah, that's true. They now start at level 3, which gives them the deal damage to all adjacent enemies' ability straight away. That is a very good point.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a lot of damage. Yeah, the difficulty can ramp up very quickly if you make some bad mistakes like I just did. I pretty much wasted 3 energy on a Furious Brute, whilst I think it would have been better to potentially play some other units and then save the energy for when enemies were a bit closer.
Yeah, it's pretty challenging to use the Brute strategy when you don't have any other abilities or gems that allow to attack multiple times, because with them, Brute is absolutely brutal. So yeah.
No pun intended. So yeah, and there's quite a few ways to get the Brute to double attack. There's some units that do that. The gems as well can allow the Brute to double attack. So it's just tricky to kind of get the strategy rolling initially, but when you do, executing it can be really fun. For a while, it was possible to push the final boss off the edge of the map and one-shot it, but now that's not allowed anymore.
Yeah, just because it's too much.
Yeah. Oof. It's barely managing to keep the enemies away from the shrine. Cannot really do the same thing I did in the previous run where I built up the swordsman stack. Though
you'll still have a chance to buff swordsman, thanks to saving mana and waiting until you get to choose a ritual.
Yeah, true. Yeah, it's not too late. I just want to get one brute on the map and start buffing it so I can start doing things. But as you said, without double attack, yeah, it's pretty much you can. Doesn't matter what kind of attack they have, as far as there is at least something that keeps them alive. They can move around and push units. This is a really fun ability, the Gales, where they push enemies in a specific direction, and what we can do is position them in a way that if enemies go into them, they will get nudged off the map. Just need to be careful of that. Yep.
Yeah, their direction is always bottom right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my hope is that the battle sources will try teleporting here and then just gets nudged off the map.
Mm-hmm.
Try to use her ability against her. Let's see if that will work. Oh no! Wrong tile. Oh well. This is going completely sideways now. Let's see. I wonder if the brute will just attack the unit and wait. Or the
I think.
Or the ogre.
You can the ogre, yeah.
Yeah, we'll take a lot of damage this round. I can wait for the brute and then place it here and it will push both of them off, but the ogre will just walk off, which is fine.
Yeah.
Alright, let's see. Do the same push strategy, though it's very ineffective at this stage.
You'll still have the third way to defeat, so it might be beneficial to stack up some health on brute with the help of tribal priestesses.
Yeah, I wish I had the first one survive so I could have built up the tribal priestesses around it. Because right now it dies so fast, it's difficult to get it to do anything, really. We can try removing this tile and seeing if the... Yeah, nice. So she'll go down this route and then fall off. So we can focus on the ogre, really. And for that we can start stacking up health ahead of time.
Yeah. Ogre is pretty beefy at this point.
Yeah.
Though only 5.
Yeah, 50 health is a lot. Even killing... It's pretty much half of the health of the final boss by this point.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah.
Slightly misclicked there. Oh no, will my priestess go first? No!
Yeah.
Oh no! Such a waste. But I think the brute will move. That's okay.
Though you are lucky, brute will definitely finish off this sorceress.
Yeah, but I wish I didn't lose the priestess. That was a bit of a waste on my part. If I didn't put her here, but somewhere here, that wouldn't have happened if I planned ahead a bit more.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, we need to figure out how to push the ogre off, because he'll move here, we'll move here. Oh, I should have put the priestess here too. soak up the damage. That's okay. It will be, at least I will not get the 5 damage on move or 6 damage on move. So I can sustain a couple of attacks, which should be fine.
Yeah, you'll unlikely be able to push it off the continent, but at least you'll push it farther from your shrine.
Yeah, still though, so much damage for the brute. Yeah, because the brute moves first and then the ogre moves, deals 5 damage and then does the attack. Let's see, what would be... I think I'll try to save up here. I don't think it would be worth trying to invest into a swordsman by this point, it's too late. But I can get the same brute strategy to work as the ogre moves over.
Yeah.
Or maybe he will walk into one of the gales. Let's see if he will move left. Okay, maybe he will even just move into the gale. I can probably put my brute here. Nice. It's always nice to see like because the units go to the shrine no matter what. You can turn the situation around where they will just walk away from you as you punch them in the back. Can be really nice.
Yeah, knowing the road makes it easier to kind of affect it. You can create units in their place to affect the road, and you can create some tiles that may be beneficial for you if they walk on them. So yeah, that's definitely a good thing.
Yeah, and this kind of worked out a lot better than I expected because we pushed the ogre to this tile and then they move down, so they're guaranteed to walk into this gale. So we can really, like, don't even need to bother about trying to kill them. I was a bit worried that the ogre will just loop around and go into this one, but this works really well.
Yeah.
Easy win.
I wouldn't say it was easy. It was
let's not talk about the mistakes. It was all part of the plan all along.
I think the shrine lost about 30 or even 40 health during this match, though
Yeah.
it's not that significant because it was placed on the forest and was kind of buffed by all of these runes.
Yeah, I don't think I will be able to craft a gem. I don't have enough. But I might be able to get some units.
Yeah, but also you can get a talent, the nature one.
Are there any nature ones that do double attack? I can't remember.
No.
Yeah, I think they're all health oriented. And I don't really have a lot of... Right now I'm focusing on a very aggressive strategy rather than a more defensive one. I'll try buying more units, see what kind of units we get, because the battle priestesses, or the tribal priestess is not as helpful for me right now, but the orc shaman will be really good.
Oh, there is one.
Yeah, I can get the orc shaman and switch those around. This is really powerful against Talvius. Unholy Touch.
Yeah.
So actually, why not? We can show a cool strategy to chat. So that's something that if you know how these mechanics work, you can be really sneaky about using them. Though I'll probably sacrifice this and then keep the swordsman as a backup. Or I don't think I cannot even push the Talvius off the map anymore, so really I want to keep... Yeah, this combination would be the best because then I can make the swordsman triple attack. and then buff up the swordsman. Okay, yeah, that seems pretty solid.
Yeah, though the brute could help you kind of push Talvis farther from your shrine, but yeah, I think the Orc Shaman plus the Swordsman strategy will work out better.
Yeah, and then let's see. So I don't like that there is a wall of these, so I'll regenerate the continent, see if we can get a more favorable spawn. It's not a lot better. We can maybe let Talvius go here. Trying to see if I can get him to move over non-graveyard tiles. What do you think? Maybe here? That seems like a reasonable place to...
Maybe the rune tile on the right side of the battlefield. This way he'll probably end up just moving through only one graveyard, which should be okay.
Like the bottom one on the right?
Yeah, I think bottom one, it will be easier to kind of redirect his road so he won't end up moving through the second war graveyard.
Yeah, so we can reserve the Unholy Touch as a backup in case Talvius gets to our shrine. Pretty much the plan is, so Unholy Touch can swap attack off 2 units, and Shrine is considered to be a unit. So you can swap attack between Talvius and the Shrine, effectively making Talvius' attack 0. But his ability of attacking on or dealing 6 damage ranged attack will happen no matter what. So instead of wasting this mana now, I'll see if I can kill Talvius, and then this will be our backup in case he eventually reaches our shrine. And also if he picks up any of the graveyards, then we can negate all of that work that he did. But for now, let's start doing the swordsman strat. I think we'll see if we can kill Talvius and then wrap up the stream there as well. I think I did the mistake again where Talvius does the...
Yeah, I think the swordsman just died.
Yeah, that wasn't good. Maybe if I put my swordsman here, they will move here. Talvius will move here, so that should be fine. Okay, I'll need to save up.
Yeah, that's when you need furious brutes to push bosses away.
Yeah, I think I can survive another turn to swap the attack with Unholy Touch. Just barely. Okay, now we... how much... Yeah, I need to swap it with the shrine, otherwise I will die. But I think I'm dead here no matter what. I don't think I can win my way out of this. Yeah, subtle change in difficulty makes a big difference. Couple of mistakes. Really lost a lot of shrine health in the previous battle. That's okay.
I think at this point his his ability.
Yeah, the ranged attack really does it. Yeah, let's check the library. Yeah, so more unlocks will be available in early access as well, and as we progress through early access, we'll add more content, more units, more abilities, a ton of cool stuff. Feel free to wishlist the game on Steam. It's available. Our demo is available there right now, and you can wishlist here as well in the demo. And then we'll be releasing in early access on 11th of October, so pretty soon. If you have any feedback, feel free to join our Discord and leave it there. We always appreciate it. And yeah. Would you like to say any kind of final thoughts, Daniil?
Yeah, I really appreciate anyone who watched our stream, and I hope you liked what you saw. And if you liked, so just try the demo, and if you like it as much as the stream, please wishlist the game to be notified. So yeah, thank you guys.
Yep. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Talk to you on another stream. Bye.
Yeah, bye everyone.